Alright, so this is my review of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. Also, shout out Mac Miller, RIP to homie. Alright, so I was genuinely surprised with this album. I'm gonna be real, I actually liked it, like a decent amount. I didn't think that album was a lot more traditional than I thought it was gonna be. So people kind of praise this as being like really experimental. I didn't find it super experimental, like not nearly to the degree that like I don't know. I felt like it was hyped like that. So it wasn't like super experimental. It was actually pretty traditional rap album. One of his more traditional ones, I would say. Definitely more traditional than 808s and Heartbreaks. But so the album itself. So the album started off pretty slow to me. I was not a huge fan of the first track. Of course, I can't remember the name right now, but I was not a huge fan of the first track, or like really the first two for like even the second one, Kid Cudi. Like they didn't really like do it for me. But then it started ramping up with songs like Power, All the Lights, like all the big heavy hitters that we've all heard before because they've been in every single movie or commercial or whatever. So those are good. But then like there was actually some songs that I really liked. So for instance, Monster. I've heard a lot about this song, but I've never really listened to Monster. And damn, like people go off in that song. Like they're really rapping. And especially like Nicki, like I've heard people reference her monster verse before, but I've never actually. Ooh, I feel like I'm in heaven with that light. There we go. But I've heard people reference her verse before, but I've never actually listened to it. And yeah, Nicki went off in that song. Like Nicki's monster verse was fire. So definitely shout out Nicki for that one. Like Rick Ross, all of them like went in. That was the other thing I noticed with this album too. Like this seems to be, I don't know if this is like, I mean, I don't know, it kind of seems to be his first step in like really using other artists. Like, you could tell now that he has clout and that he doesn't need to put all the vocals on his albums. Like, I mean, all his previous albums had features, but like, I feel like this is like one of the first ones to get real feature heavy. And from what I know, like I've heard Life of Pablo already and some of the later stuff, that like that starts to be a trend for him. But yeah, so he's probably using his clout in order to do that, which he obviously has a ton of, and so and I like that, to be honest. I see. I mean, honestly, I can see why Tyler or Kanye was such a big inspiration to Tyler. They kind of both do things similarly. I think that he's a good orchestrator, kind of like Tyler. Obviously, Kanye obviously does it to like a bigger level, but they're both good at finding a sound, and if they don't fit that sound, then they can find other artists to actually make that sound for them. And just orchestrating the whole song, much more than just doing it. They manage it, and so that's what I feel like he's starting to do finally with this album. Because like all the big hits all had a lot of features, in my opinion. What was it? My favorite song on this album is Runaway. I've actually heard this song before. This was probably the only song, well, I mean, except for Power and All the Lights, which are huge. But I would say Runaway is like the only song that like I like legit had to listen to before this review. And even with the review, it's still my favorite song. So I just think that like the piano and then everything, like it brings out a lot of emotion. So Runaway is a great song. Some songs are way too long, though. That's including Runaway. um, uh, the songs aren't interesting enough to be as long as they are. Whether it's like beat changes or whatever, like he's not doing enough for me to really justify these songs, being, and they're not even like crazy long, but like there's nothing keeping me there. I'm like, okay, this song can end now, because like if he's not barring out, then I'm not listening to you say anything else. So if you're just repeating the same chord progressions and whatnot, it just kind of seems, to me. Or like he will switch up the chord progressions, but like the beat won't be any better, or it might be worse. And so, it's just not super great to me. What else? I really, really liked Hell of a Life, actually. The beat was kind of weird, but I really liked it. And I thought the lyrics, like, I mean, they're not like college dropout, but like, for like, I don't know. It was a little more content, in my opinion. He has one line. It's not a great line, but he says, like, pussy and religion is all I need. And I was just like, word. um, Also, Blame Game is kind of cool. I thought that was nifty. I like, was that Chris Rock on like the intro or outro track or whatever, or outro skit? Thought that was pretty cool. Overall, I actually enjoyed this album. I can see why people would put it as one of their top Kanye albums. I can see it. It's to me, this is almost more of like a melding of 808s and Heartbreaks, and then some of his other previous work. It wasn't as experimental as 808 and Heartbreaks, but he definitely still focused on like that major production more. So, yeah. So overall, so far for me, I probably have to put it at College Dropout. Yeah, College Dropout, Late Registration, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808s and Heartbreaks, Graduation. So yeah, that's my list so far. Next up, I actually don't know what album's next up. I'll have to see when I get off this, but yeah, looking forward to the next one though.